Hello everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of the Our America channel. My name is Thornton Prayer. I'm a citizen, I'm a patriot, and I care very deeply about the United States of America. Today I'd like to talk about power. And power can have a lot of different meanings in a lot of different ways in a lot of different situations. I'd like to focus and start off with thinking about what power isn't. See, I think a lot of people think power means what I would refer to as force or coercion. Power in that sense means like I can make you do what I want you to do. And there's a lot of situations where we do that. Parents do that with little children because you have to discipline them sometimes. But I think when it comes to the realm of adults, sometimes we get out of control about that. It's like when a husband or boyfriend tries to force his wife to do certain things to the point of even beating her. That's not power, that's force. That happens on a larger societal scale as well. Let's be blunt. This country has used a lot of force, and our society uses a lot of force to coerce people who we don't like, simply because, again, of their ethnic heritage, their sexual orientation, their religious faith, and all that kind of thing. That's force, that's not power. And see, in this sense, I'm trying to point to the fact that a lot of us abuse power, and we abuse force to be more accurate. We say we want power, but is it really power or is it force? See, by contrast, I define power as a self-generated sense of your value as a person. It's not simply having a high self-esteem, although that's nice and that's helpful. I'm talking about having a very clear grounding of your value as a human being, your value as a citizen, and your value as someone who's a patriot in this country and as a citizen. Now, power in that sense doesn't rely upon other people, and it certainly doesn't mean you got to force other people to do what you need them or want them to do. And power in that way can be a very, very vital and positive force. I think one of the issues that we're facing in the United States, both historically and today, is a lot of people are so used to using quote-unquote power where really they want to force other people to do what they want to do. That's what's happening in our political system, that's what's happening in our society, and everyone's upset because we're trying to force others to do what we want them to do as opposed to using our own self-generated power and to try to get people to understand why we believe what we do. I'm reminded of a couple of quotes, about what people said about power. You've probably heard, I assume you've heard, the statement attributed to a British parliamentarian back in the 19th century about power. His name was Lord Acton, and the statement is, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think that's part of the problem that's happening in our country today. Political elites, social elites, financial and economic elites are using a lot of force to get what they want. And they're not caring about the United States, and they're not caring about us, you and I, as average citizens. But there's another statement, another quote that I've read that was attributed to Abraham Lincoln that is not as well known, but I think is even more important. And that is that the quote attributed to Lincoln is this, and that is that most men can handle adversity. If you wanted to really test a man's character, give him power. And in that sense, is that how many of us would resist the temptation when we have power handed to us to use it and to abuse it and to force people to do things that we want them to do even when it's detrimental and hurtful to them. I believe in power. I believe in American power, meaning the power of our values and the power of our strength. But when we as individuals, and both in a sense of collectively what we do to each other, and in some cases what we do as a nation to other countries, is about force, not power. And that can be a dangerous, destructive thing. If you really want to destroy the United States, start throwing your force around. If you want to help the United States become fantastic and become great, as some people have said, then operate from a position of power, not destruction, not coercion, not force. I welcome any thoughts or comments. Thank you for listening to today's edition of Our America channel. See you next time.